Birdie and Real Bird. I'm from Crow Agency, Montana. Actually, 6 miles south of Crow Agency, I live in Gary, Montana. If you go on I-90, there's a little exit that says Gary, Montana, and there's a post office there. And I live right down the road from there. I'm Apsáalooke, and I'm a retired school counselor. I'm a leader. I brought my grandson, Jet, traveling with me today. I have 2 grandkids and 1 son. I was going to talk about my name, Real Bird. Real Bird means Dagagtaila. That's how you say it in Crow. That was my great-grandfather's name. And back in the 1800s, or before maybe they started writing people's names. And back then, when you went in to sign in, and for the first time, they put your name on a census or whatever. Today we call it a census, right? So back then, when my grandfather went in, they were English speakers, and then my grandfather was not an English speaker. He was a Crow speaker. So he said, my name is Dagagtaila, Balasha Dagagtaila. And that person across the desk, he said, okay, you gotta, I don't understand it, so you have to tell me. And a lot of times, the Indians would go, okay, I'm not sure what he's saying, but let's just use this name. So they'll have maybe the president's name on the wall, maybe Jefferson, or how about, what do you call this, the wall? We've got some names in Crow Agency called wall, door, let's see, Jefferson, there's some that are named, but they point at things, and then that's just what they give them. And my grandfather said, I'm not going to do that. My name is Dagagtaila. So I don't know how he translated it, but he kept his name. And since then, we've been Real Birds. And I think that people ask me, how do you get your Crow name? So, okay, I have my name is Birdina Real Bird. When I was born, my father, he had all these boys. I have 5 brothers I grew up with. And he thought I was going to be another boy. So he had a boy name, and then I came out, I was a girl. So he was thinking, okay, so he's over at medical records trying to give me a name. And this woman named Farrell Pease was at medical records. She always tells me this story. She said, your father came and he said, we thought it was going to be a boy, but it's a girl. So I'm going to have me find a name for her. So, her and Farrell and my dad started writing. Farrell May said he was gonna name you Burdell. But then I didn't like Burdell. She didn't like Burdell. He didn't care, I guess. And so then he said, how about Birdina Real Bird. So then they called me, that's my driver's license name, but then they take me home and then they call me Birdie, because there was this little old lady in Lodgegrass named Birdie Wallace, and my dad used to tease her all the time, and he said that, my mom said, he just gave you that name that one day, he said, let's call her Birdie. So then that's how I became Birdie Real Bird. One time I was going to school in Bozeman, Montana, looking for an apartment, and I was calling this realtor, and he said, what's your name? And I said, Birdie Real Bird, and he busted out laughing. and I didn't know why he was laughing. And he yells out to the other people in the office, probably, hey guys, get this. I'm on the line with this woman named Birdie Real Bird. And then they all start laughing. But I never really think about my name. That is my grandpa's name. So then we go along, and my aunt's name is Nagabichan. Pretty Bird was her name. My Aunt Martha's name was that. And so then we have another name for my niece's name is Lark. So then we kind of hang on to this real bird, being Bird. But I found out that that's their medicine. That was my great-grandpa's medicine, was the bird. And it was a real bird. And then Apsáalooke, Bill kind of touched on that a little bit. We were coming out of the Great Lakes back in 1500s. We split from these other tribes. And we followed this leader named, not me, but my ancestors did. He had a vision of this tobacco seed that he was given in his vision quest. So he said, I saw this land. It had mountains and it had trees, and there was water going through. It was a beautiful place. I'm going to go find that place if you want to come with me. And this man's name was No Intestines. Don't ask me why his name was that. But Sheep Dadish is his name. Sheep Dadish. He'd come out of Great Lakes with a group of probably a lot of his relatives, and some of the people stayed behind, and he said, whoever wants to come with me. And so they packed up and they started coming west. They were out there around the Great Lakes, and they started coming out, and they started heading kind of west and into southwest area. So there's stories where they migrated, traveled for 100 years. A whole 100 years. They went all the way around, down south around Arizona, came back up around Salt Lake, and then came back up into Canada, and then they were about to give up. And each place they think that's the land, they plant that seed and it won't grow. So they kept moving and kept moving for 100 years. And I heard no vitals or no intestines got young 2 times. He became energized and revived, and he wasn't feeble or anything. So he kept traveling and kept traveling. And throughout that travel, they acquired all these new ways of living. It was survival. So they survived. They got all these gifts. You In your dream, you can go out there fast for 4 days, 3 days, no water, no food, and things will come to you. That's how we got our name too, Apsáalooke. Apsa means up is at, big nose. A bat is nose, Isad is big, and then Logat is child. So that Apsáalooke that we gave ourselves when we left the Great Lakes, that's what it means. We were this bird that had a big nose, took us as his children, or her children. So that's how we call ourselves Apsáalooke. We were children of the big bird. And when we became, that was our name we gave ourselves. So then we meet the white people, and they call us Apsáalooke, and they call us Crow. Then they changed it to Crow, because Apsáalooke was too hard to pronounce, or they didn't understand it. So then they said, hey, they call themselves a bird. We were not the bird. We were children of this bird that had that bird had no name to the Crow people. This bird, whatever it did for them, probably saved them from some treacherous, the land they were going through was treacherous. So then they said they want us as a child of theirs. And every time when they get some kind of medicine, as people, as Crow people, we believe in the first maker. We call him Ichikbalya. When we pray, we address Ichikbalya, Agwadadia, he who makes everything, the first maker. That's how we start when we start praying. And we believe that Ichikbalya, the first maker, made all these creatures. And all these creatures were sent to us as helpers. And as spirit helpers, they became our helpers to survive this world. And when we get a helper, we say, "Hey, Diva." That means that thing wants to adopt you and make you their own, take you in and help you in life. So that's how we get our helpers from the Creator. We become their child. And as a whole group of my ancestors, they believe that big bird with a big nose, that bird with a big nose took us as their child, their children. So we become children of this, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a horse, it could be a bear. One time, I live in a log house in Garryon. I have a lot of bats. They kept coming in my house, and I was scared of them, and I didn't like them. And my brother said, "Hey, bats that eat," or bats have, their name is East Feedback. They want to adopt you, he said. And I said, "No, I don't like them. I'm not going to let them adopt me." What can a bat do? But that's what people say even today. When something comes to you, and it keeps coming to you, they say, "Ek Dilagavik." That means that thing wants to adopt you, take you in as their child. So that's what our name is. Apsáalooke, Dagan, means child of. So any of you can do that too. You can get a spirit animal attention to, I think everything has to be pretty quiet, calm, for you to get that. So all those medicine bundles you hear about, they're those spirit creatures or animals that take them in as their child. So then they turn them into bags. They make a home for them in their house, and they put them in their house. And you hang them up in the northwest side of your house, or it has directions. So the medicine bundle that my grandfather, Richard Wallace, Ishtalushtush, he named my grandson after him. Ishtalushtush, his medicine is the bowl. And sometimes it comes with songs. There's little songs that we have, 4 of them. And then there's my other great-great-grandfather, Medicine Tail. His medicine is the horse. So we have pictures of him wearing this cap that has big ears. It's a horse cap. And he has horse necklace. And so we do have this, today we still have medicine. And back in the early 1900s, this preacher came into Lodgegrass. He turned the community into Christians and had them come to his church. And he told them that your medicine is bad. Those medicine bundles need to go away. Bring them this Sunday, and then we'll just throw them in the river and let it float away. So a lot of those Indians in Lodgegrass, they took their medicine to Apsáalooke, and they say he baptized them, took the person into the river with their medicine bundle, and he told them to wear all white. So some of those men, they wear their long johns, you know, the white body cover. They wear those to church. And then they took their medicine bundle, they went in the river, they let them go. Apsáalooke's friend was down the river and he picked them up. That's how they end up in the museums today. That's where they're at. I believe that. I've seen a lot of medicine bundles in museums that I've been at. The Cody Museum has a lot of bundles there. Smithsonian has a lot of bundles. Field Museum has a lot of bundles. And I'm pretty sure Bradford Britton probably has some too. But they end up there. And luckily, my grandfathers were pretty tight with their, and today my family is still pretty traditional. We still go in the Sundance, we go in the sweat lodge, you've heard about that probably, and we have continued speaking speaking Crow. We learn English in school, but we still speak Crow at home. And I was never punished for speaking my language. And I know that they're out there, people are out there talking about that, but I don't know how I missed that part. I went through school in Crow Agency. We went out to recess, we played, we taught Crow. They didn't punish us over there for talking Crow. Then I went on to art in high school, and through the whole time in high school I taught Crow. And I know that I know some of my And so today, in Crow Agency, I was working with the Apsáalooke app. That's on your, you can get it on the phone. I was the one with some others. We developed that. We had this man named Don Thornton, him and his wife, they developed that Indian languages, and it's an app. So if you get it, well, actually now you can't get it, but we started in 2014. I think that's when we had it done. And in there, you have the different categories, like the seasons, the areas in Crow Agency, colors, vegetables, food, all kinds of food. And it's all on there, and you push it, and it talks Crow back to you. So if you can get it, you should try to listen to it a little bit. But my family, we kept the language. And I didn't know as a kid, as I was growing up, that language was that important. But today, I appreciate that my grandmother and my mom were strong in keeping us in that path of knowing who I am, where I come from. And one of my clan dads told me, he said, you are Crow, or you are Apsáalooke, if you can speak the language. You know where you come from, your family, where do they come from? And you know about your clan. And the fourth one is, there's 4, clan, language, clan, family, and I can't remember the 4th one. But that's how I know I'm Crow, because I can speak the language. And I have to know where I come from. I think that if I didn't know where I come from, I wouldn't have made it today. I come a long ways. I'm 72 years old, and I've had cancer 4 times, and I've gone through quite a bit. But I must have a helper out there that keeps me going, and they still want me here. And today I appreciate you listening to me. I'm standing here talking to you, and I thank you for coming. And I think I just finished introducing myself. Is it 20 minutes? I think there's some that are going to leave for bird watching.
As I understand the program, at this point, we invite you who need to go on the walk to go.